AskReddit. What is the worst thing you've ever done at work? I worked at a coffee shop and was used to rude customers, but this one guy seriously took the cake. He deserves what he got. This man placed his order at the speaker asking for a macchiato. I ask if he means a caramel macchiato, completely different but more popular drink, and he says no. So I give him his total. Eventually he gets to the window, pays, and I hand him his drink, where he proceeds to completely lose his shit. He tells me that this is not the drink he ordered, and I'm a complete idiot, etc etc. Come to find out, he actually wanted the caramel macchiato. This happens often, so I told him we wouldn't charge him the extra and I'd have it rushed out. This isn't good enough for him. He grumbles about deserving to get his money back and the new drink, but I politely excuse myself from the window until the drink is made. My barista finishes the drink and I hand it to him. He grabs it from me and drives forward. But he's not done yet. I'm talking with the next customer when this guy stops his car, gets out, and walks in between her car and my window. He leans in the store and hollers that this still isn't his drink. He wanted it iced. I ask him to come into the front of the store since I can't serve him like this, but no, he'd rather stand in front of this lady. My coffee shop had a policy where we could not say no to a customer. I sometimes wondered if I would be expected to service someone excellently, as long as they asked while I was behind the register. I asked my barista to make the caramel macchiato again, but iced, and as fast as freaking possible. I had gone hide from this man again, but he begins yelling, so I come back. Now he's saying that he ordered and paid for a cream cheese muffin. I ask to see his receipt, so I can show him that he didn't pay for one, and that we had been out of cream cheese muffins all morning. But he refused to show me his receipt. I'm trying to reprint the previous order, but he's yelling, and my manager has made it clear that she's not going to help at all. So I say, duck it, and go to the pastry case and grab whatever kind of muffin we had. Just as my barista hands the new latte to the crazy man, I hurl the muffin through the window and hit him in the chest. It gets muffin all over his shirt and say, "I'll comp it for you." I was actually shocked when he quietly took the muffin and his now third drink and walked back to his car. The lady, who had been sitting stunned in her car the whole time, actually said, "Well done," to me. TLDR, I threw a muffin at a customer. When I got my first summer job, I had a hard-ass manager who pointed out every minor detail about how the job should be done, and he did this repeatedly over the course of an entire summer, just drilling it into my head. Well, for some reason they liked me and wanted me to come back the following summer. And that manager didn't work there anymore, and the other summer workers were completely new. I was the only one who had been there before. So I actually positioned myself as the manager and ran operations for the entire summer, being just as picky as the previous manager. Funny story is that the regular staff, the ones that was there year round, didn't mind that I did this, and they came to me and said, "This guy isn't doing anything. Can you go and tell him to do his work?" I didn't even have to say anything. I just walked over there, and he started working when I was around. They all flipped at the end of the summer, when I revealed that I was just one amongst them, and that I didn't ever had any authority over them. And I had been sending people home when they disappointed me, saying that I was going to dock their pay and stuff like that, which of course I couldn't do. TLDR, pretended to be the manager at my summer job. When I was younger, I worked at a home for deaf people with severe autism. There were 5 residents, and one of them was completely deaf and blind. Coupled with his autism, he didn't have a lot of pleasures in life, other than wearing comfortable hats and necklaces. One of the workers there decided on a whim that it would be a good idea to buy him a very expensive stereo set with a top-of-the-line headset. There were attempts to get him to use it, with the idea that he might like the feeling of the bass on his eardrums, but he never took a liking to it, and so it sat in his room year after year. I came back summer after summer, and every time I went in his room I just saw it lying there collecting dust. In a spur-of-the-moment decision, I took the headset home with me. No one ever noticed or cared, but that doesn't change the fact that I stole from a blind, deaf, autistic man with epilepsy, and at the time, a broken jaw. TLDR, stole from a blind, deaf, autistic man that was in my care. I worked a job right out of college that I had to travel for 300 plus days a year. I got per diem and a company credit card with literally no limit. The company bookkeeper was a mid-40s woman who was an alcoholic and hated her husband and was hell-bent on achieving full cougar status. I proverbially dipped my pen in the company ink, not 2 months into employment. For the next 2 years I kept her happy, and she overlooked the charges to my company credit card ranging from $200 dinners, hotel suites, strip clubs, casinos and Amazon.com. This is, what's the worst thing you've done at work, not make us jealous of how awesome your job was. At work we communicate through Skype. There was a coworker I kinda flirted with. We would ask each other questions, and the other person had to answer honestly. I asked the guy whether he had chest hair, but instead of sending it to him, I sent it to my boss. Fortunately my boss laughed it off, and told me to go back to work. I still cringe at the memory. I forgot the where clause on an update query and there was no backup. I deleted over 750,000 data points from a medical database because I missed the equal in my statement, and it just assumed I meant the whole database. My company paid out $10,000 as a settlement for time required to re-enter the data. TLDR, my boss paid $10,000 in damages for a database typo I made. Working in a ticket sales booth at Six Flags. They left me there for 8 hours, despite my having to pee for the last 5 of them. Finally, I peed in the vacuum tube which takes the money to the counting room. At the end of the day people were wondering about the tiny droplets on all the canisters. I used to work at the Cheesecake Factory, and we have a chicken and shrimp gumbo. One day I had Muslim guests, Burkas and all sit down with me. They explained pretty clearly they can't have anything with alcohol, so no wine sauce or pork. I said sure, no problem. They ordered the chicken and shrimp gumbo and I was like, okay cool, that works. Problem is that shit had pork sausage in it, and I completely forgot. It's not called a chicken and shrimp and pork sausage gumbo, so my bad. The lady was halfway through eating it when she asked me what that meat was that she was eating. If she hadn't eaten most of it already I would have taken it back, but I just lied and said, oh that's beef, you're good. I walked away like phew. Not my workplace. I was 8 or 9, and we didn't have internet, so I came over to my mom's work to play flash games and stuff. My mom worked as a secretary, and her office had 2 computers, one inside her secretary place, and another in a separate conference room kind of place. Her office PC had F keyboard, so I hated it, which gets me to the conference room PC. I play some games, and the PC crashes at some point. Computer savvy kid I am, thinking restarting it will probably fix it. As I shut it down, the entire floor gets an awful lot noisy. Later I found out that PC was the server, so I crashed and restarted a ducking server. My mother worked for the Treasury Ministry of Turkey, and our economy has been shit for the last 10 years. I'm 19 now. TLDR, accidentally crashed a government server while possibly playing Heli Attack 3 on it. Probably sent Turkish economy to oblivion. Anarchist in me approves. When I was younger, I was an auditor for a hotel rewards program. Basically, my job was to spot fraud and abuse, and prevent it or stop it. My routine consisted of spotting trends, notifying our guests, and asking for explanations of their activity, and negotiating penalties with them. Now, I had a woman who I stumbled across by accident, and she was guilty of major fraud, and she was good. She had accumulated around 4 million points through her scheme. I sent her an email and letter, asking her to call or email me to discuss her account, and put an account freeze so she couldn't use her points. She didn't respond after a week, so I sent her another email and called her, and she promptly hung up on me. This went on for a solid 2 months. She had a trip to Paris booked, and she was planning on using her points for this, which she can't do because her account is frozen. Also, because this is a sister company hotel, they must have the certificate in hand or pay. So she gets there, enjoys her week's stay, and it comes time to check out. Well, the hotel wants to be paid. She calls into customer service and pitches a fit, and they can't help her because of the freeze I've placed on her account. The CSR calls me at home, and I come in and call the hotel, and finally speak to her. Oh, they want to be paid. I need you to overwrite a certificate to the hotel. Me. I can't do that. I've suspended your account because you've abused our program. Oh, yes, you can. Look, they want $7,000 or the certificate. Me. I've been trying to contact you for the last 2 months, and you have chosen not to respond to me. We can discuss your account now if you'd like, and we can compromise, and I'll talk to the hotel. Oh, no, you need to just give them the certificate. I'm not going to discuss anything with you. You should be happy that I'm spending all the time in your hotels. Me. Look, it's Saturday morning. I don't want to be in here discussing this with you, and it's not you that's been in our properties, it's been friends and co-workers. You've blatantly abused our program, and it costs us money. Oh, duck you don't know who I am. I will be calling the CEO and getting you fired. You're just a ducking loser who thinks he's important. Now, you ducking get the certificate here and maybe I won't get you fired. Me. Ma'am, I don't know you, but your threats don't scare me, so here's what's going to happen. I've zeroed out your account. Your guest status has been stripped, and I've closed your account. We do not want your business. Thank you for your time. Oh, what? They are going to charge me $7,000. Me. Had you been nicer to me and responded to me, we could have settled this. As it is, your attitude has prevented me from being willing to do anything for you. Oh, look, I'm sorry, I don't have $7,000. Me. That's not my problem. Guess this is going to be a $7,000 lesson for you. Hangs up phone. Ended up with a presidential complaint but nothing came of it.